Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today in front of me I have Furious Hero from Black Hole Toys. I ordered this off AliExpress about 2 weeks ago and it came in the other day. This is a Super Saiyan Goku figure based on the manga coloring. And as you can see here, the box is pretty damaged. It's a common complaint, especially on AliExpress, to get damaged boxes like this. And even though the packaging was very well done and actually very well kept, it still ended up arriving like this, which doesn't bother me too much because I don't really care about the box. I care about what's inside. So here's a front view of the box, a right side view of the box, a back side view of the box, and a left side view of the box. Alright, so here's Goku outside of the box. Goku comes with 3 different hair sculpts, 8 different faceplates, 4 of which are interestingly blank, 10 different sets of hands, 5 for each arm, and a pretty large acrylic stand. Alright, so taking a look at the hair sculpts and the faceplates, 2 of the hair sculpts here are pretty similar to each other in style. There is a difference in the way the bangs and the hair sticking up is styled. You can clearly tell the difference, but for the most part, in sense, they are pretty much the same. And our third hair sculpt here is a windswept style, sweeping to the left. Now for our faceplates, the faceplate that he comes with by default is a battle damaged neutral face. He comes with another neutral face where he's looking off to the left, an angry face where he's gritting his teeth, and then an angry face where he's screaming. And then the 4 other faceplates are actually, interestingly enough, modeled. As you can see, there's a blank faceplate that is also yelling, and the other faceplates have some expressions on them as well. Alright, now for the hands, we're pretty much just getting the typical Dragon Ball hand sculpts. There is 10 hands, 5 for each arm. Our base hands are a closed fist. We have a pair of open palm hands, another one of open gripping hands, our combat stance hands, and then we do have something a little different here. It is another open hand that is kind of closed, but it is specific to this figure. Now taking a look at our accessory acrylic stand here, the highlight of this figure, you can see that it stands about 7 inches tall, and the base for it to stand on comes with protection that you peel off. The graphics on the acrylic itself are really beautiful based on the Dragon Ball manga. Alright, now before we take a closer look at the figure itself, I actually did want to take a look at this acrylic here first. You can see that the print is on the back side while it's encased in sort of a clear plastic, while this Goku is actually printed on the front of the plastic. So I feel like that's a pretty cool design choice. And the text here is in the original Japanese from the original manga. I believe this is a panel from where Frieza just kills Krillin. On camera, this looks pretty good, but in person, you can kind of see that it's not the highest quality print. As you can see, these black lines here and right here are kind of like rough on the edge, but it's honestly not that big of a problem. And another thing that looks kind of weird is the shadow on his hair. It's a little weird, but those are honestly just small little nitpick details, and the stand itself is what makes this figure really cool. So I'm just gonna go ahead and take the stand here and peel off the protection. Nice clear stand, just put it in there. We're gonna go ahead and just leave that in the background for the rest of the video. Now with the cool stand there, let's go ahead and take a look at the figure. Now in hand right away, I will say he feels pretty stiff. These joints in the leg and in the arms are pretty stiff feeling and squeaky. And the plastic, it's kind of different than what you would get from like a figure art. It doesn't necessarily feel worse, but it does feel sort of different. But yeah, let's just take a look at the figure. So in the face sculpt here, this base one that he comes with, this is actually the only faceplate that he has that is battle damaged, and I really like the detail in this damaging right here. Take a closer look. He has a lot of scar going across his face and his eyes. There's blood coming out of his mouth. I really like the white eyebrows and the red. Everything is just matching, and the skin tone on this Goku is really dark. It definitely will not compare to any of the other Gokus, but again, this is a manga coloring of the character. Now with that being said, this pure white hair is just so nice. I really like this design for Goku. It sort of gives me a mixed feeling between Super Saiyan and Ultra Instinct. You know, it's not completely silver, but I honestly just really like this white. It reminds me of like the pale yellow from some of the Super Saiyan looks, and that personally is just one of my favorite looks. And there's such a detailing here too. In even the ear, there is some shading going on there. Let's just go ahead and take the bangs out there so we could get a better look at his face. Really nice detail on the head. Alright, now we take a look at his torso. I'm really loving this black tattered shirt that he has here and the battle damage all over his body. Now there is some sort of weird missed parts here, like this part of his arm doesn't look painted. I don't know if that's intentional or not. I don't believe so, but it looks like that's really the only problem I could see on his torso. Again, more battle damaging here. And the sculpt for his ripped shirt is really well done. It goes into this waist piece, which is actually, if we raise his torso here, you could see that this is a free piece that you can move however you want. It gives more range when it comes to his waist and his chest. Again, more battle damaging on both of his knees. I really love these like just suede pieces of ripped fabric here and like the small little details of tattering. Now on the back, it does kind of look a little weird just because, you know, it is a jointed figure. It's not like all one piece. So these two different separate pieces of fabric is kind of weird to me. But besides that, it looks fine. The white here too, the white highlighting on the rips. And then here we have his shoes, which are all black and red. I really love that. But yeah, that's all there really is when it comes to details. He's a very beautiful colored figure, but in terms of like variety compared to other Gokus, he's not much different than like the legendary Super Saiyan figure. These ripped pants models are things we've seen before, but are very appreciated in a figure like this. I am really impressed with the way this figure looks, especially in the head. Now we'll go ahead and take a look at the articulation here. So his head right out of the box moves very freely, like no problems there. Like it's pretty loose. I wouldn't say it's too loose, but yeah, it's not stiff at all compared to like the rest of the figure. You can look everywhere you need him to. Now let's come to the arms here. Now this wingspan, that's about as far up as he's gonna go. Typical 360 in the arm, the wrist. The arm will move how you need it to, but it is stiff. You can hear it like squeaking kind of. All right, now let's take a look at his torso here. This is where the articulation becomes pretty interesting. His torso can actually extend like this, as you can see. His waist piece here begins to move a lot more freely. This allows him to go about this far, which is a pretty good ab crunch. You know, his legs, pretty impressive here. We could pretty much almost get full split out of him here. Not completely, but almost there. However, we can get a full split this way. Articulation in the legs really good. His knee can go pretty high up like that. Our typical ankle does have a toe crunch. So he has a toe crunch, but it's actually kind of like a stiff joint there in the toe, which I honestly like. There is some figures where that toe is loose and it will mess with like the way they stand, but not this guy. Goku can stand pretty easily. I'm honestly a fan of stiffer joints. I'd rather have them be really stiff than really loose outside of the box because you can always loosen the joints. So articulation wise, Goku's pretty much there. You know, he's high up. He's near to perfection, but not quite up there yet. For the most part, he will hit a very wide range of poses. So yeah, not much to be said about his articulation. Let's go ahead and swap his hair. So I'll just say that all the hair and face sculpts feel really nice. Like you could swap it really easily and like everything will stay just in place. I went ahead and switched his face here to a non-battle damaged version where he's looking off to the side, kind of to match the direction that his hair is sweeping in. I really love this look for Goku here. His windswept bangs are really well done. Just everything looks great in this pure white color. Now if we go ahead and swap kind of the alternate Super Saiyan hair we're given. Again, this one looks really good. I'd say the main difference in these is just like the bangs. Instead of there being 4 bangs, he has 3 bangs. Instead of there being 3 pointing up pieces, he has 4. So I honestly kind of like this one more. It emphasizes like size rather than quantity, I believe. This one has more of like a straight edge look, kind of like a more powerful look, while the other one is a little bit more edgy looking. But both are good hair sculpts and they're pretty similar. Now hand swapping, I'd imagine is going to be good on this figure. Hand swap looks great, and these hands honestly look really great. The shading in the palm just looks fantastic. I actually really like that. It's very impressive. It looks like a real hand. Yeah, all these hands are just so well painted. Everything about this figure just looks so good. Alright, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and end off the video. Here's some comparisons with some other Gokus in my collection. And yeah, my overall thoughts on the figure. This is a really good standout one-of-a-kind piece. It truly is a beautiful piece of eye candy, and it's pretty fun to play around with. Now, I would compare this figure to the cheaper figure art figures, like the $35 ones, in terms of accessories and whatnot. There isn't the widest range of of variety when it comes to posing or playing with the figure, as you're just going to get a bunch of action poses and the basic set of hands and movements that you can do with the other $35 figure arts. But with this figure being $50, such an exclusive look, and you get this amazing acrylic stand, I definitely think this is worth the pickup. I'm not exactly the biggest fan of having every version of Goku ever. I'd like to keep my collection a little smaller, but this is definitely not something I regret picking up. It's such an iconic and era-defining look for Goku and anime as a whole, and for $50, there's no reason you shouldn't be able to pick this up. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, everything you need to do. Thank you to everyone who's watching, and I'll see you guys next time.